Jade Morrison thought she was just another invisible home health aide, working 2 jobs to survive, until the night her abusive ex publicly humiliated her outside a crowded diner, calling her names that made strangers pull out their phones to record. But what Caleb Rhodes didn't know was that the nobody he was taunting had been secretly married for 2 weeks to the most feared Korean mafia boss in the city. When Jade calmly slid a wedding ring onto her finger and Dae Kang stepped out of the shadows to claim his wife, the power shift was so swift it left Caleb speechless and the internet exploding. What started as protection became obsession. What began as a marriage of convenience ignited into something far more dangerous, because Madame Han, the rival crime matriarch, had been watching, and she was about to teach them both that in her world, love is the deadliest weapon of all. Subscribe and comment if you've ever wanted to see a bully get exactly what they deserve, because this revenge story is just getting started. The fluorescent light in the hallway flickered as Jade Morrison steadied Mrs. Alvarez against her apartment door. The older woman's fingers trembled around her keys. "I've got you, Marisol," Jade said. Her voice was calm. "Take your time." Marisol Alvarez had been her client for 8 months now. Post-stroke, fragile as paper, but sharp as ever. The woman insisted on walking to her door every evening instead of using the wheelchair. "Thank you, Mija." Marisol's accent was soft. "You are too good to me." Jade felt protective of this woman. More than protective, grateful. Marisol never asked why Jade worked 2 jobs, never commented on the faint bruises that sometimes showed around her wrists. The stairwell door slammed open. Well, look what we have here." Jade's stomach tightened. Caleb Rhodes leaned against the wall, arms crossed. Her ex-boyfriend's smile was sharp, mean. "Hello, Caleb." Jade kept her voice steady. She turned the key in Marisol's lock. "Still playing nurse?" Caleb stepped closer. "Still taking care of other people's trash?" Jade's hands shook. She pushed Marisol's door open. "Go inside," she whispered to the older woman. Marisol's eyes were worried, but she went. "That's not very nice, Jade." Caleb's voice was louder now. "Hiding your little wetback friend from me." The slur hit like a slap. Jade felt her breath catch. "Leave," she said. "Or what?" Caleb laughed. "You gonna call the cops? Tell them what?" A car door clicked outside. Headlights swept across the hallway window. Jade glanced toward the sound. A black sedan sat at the curb. Someone stepped out, tall, broad shoulders. She couldn't see his face. "I said leave, Caleb." "I heard you." Caleb took another step. "I'm not done talking." Footsteps echoed up the stairs. Steady, unhurried. Jade's pulse hammered. She didn't know if the footsteps meant help or more trouble. The stairwell door opened. A man appeared. Asian, well-dressed. His eyes found hers immediately. "Is there a problem here?" His voice was quiet. Caleb turned. "Who the hell are you?" The stranger didn't answer Caleb. He looked at Jade. "Are you all right?" Jade felt something shift in her chest. This man wasn't asking to be polite. He was asking because her answer mattered. "I'm fine," she said. "No, you're not." The stranger stepped between Jade and Caleb. "You need to leave." Caleb's chest puffed out. "Says who?" "Says me." The stranger didn't raise his voice, didn't move his hands, but something in his tone made Caleb take a step back. "This is between me and my girl," Caleb said. "I'm not your girl," Jade said quickly. "We'll see about that." Caleb shot her a look that promised trouble later. Then he left. His footsteps clattered down the stairs. Jade's breath came out in a rush. "Thank you," she said. The stranger turned to face her fully. He was handsome in a sharp, expensive way. His suit probably cost more than Jade made in a month. "I'm Dae," he said. "Jade." "I know." That should have scared her. Instead, it made her curious. "You've been watching me?" "Yes." His honesty surprised her. Most men lied about things like that. "Why?" Dae glanced toward the stairs where Caleb had disappeared. "Because men like him don't usually give up." Another car door slammed outside. A second man appeared in the hallway. Asian, younger than Dae, with cold eyes. "Everything clear?" the second man asked. "For now," Dae said. "Make sure he gets to his car safely." The younger man nodded and disappeared down the stairs. Jade felt trapped between gratitude and anger. "I didn't ask for help." "No, you didn't. I can handle Caleb myself." "I'm sure you can." Dae's agreement caught her off guard. She'd expected argument. "But you shouldn't have to," he added. Something in his voice made her look at him more carefully. His eyes were dark, tired, like he'd seen too much of men like Caleb. "I can give you a ride home," he said. "I live here." "I meant to your other job." Jade felt exposed. "How do you—" "The diner on 8th Street. You work the overnight shift 3 nights a week." Now she was scared. "Have you been following me?" "Not personally." "That's not better." Day's mouth almost smiled. "No, it's not." His honesty was disarming. Jade had spent 2 years with Caleb, who lied about everything from where he'd been to whether he'd eaten her leftovers. "Why?" she asked again. "Because I think you're in danger." "From Caleb?" "From Caleb. And others." The hallway felt smaller suddenly. Jade looked toward Marisol's door. She could hear the television through the thin walls. "What others?" "That's complicated." "Try me." Day studied her face. "Not here." "Then where?" "Somewhere safe." Jade felt her defenses rising. She'd heard promises of safety before. They usually came with strings attached. "I don't know you," she said. "No, you don't. So why should I trust you?" "Because I'm not asking you to." That stopped her. Caleb had always demanded trust, demanded faith, demanded she believe his version of everything. "What are you asking?" "For you to be careful." The younger man reappeared. "He's gone." "Good." Day looked at Jade again. "I'll have someone watch the building tonight." "I don't want—" "It's not for you. It's for her." Day nodded toward Marisol's door. Jade felt her anger flicker and die. He was right. Marisol was fragile. If Caleb wanted to hurt Jade, the older woman would be an easy target. "One night," she said. "One night." Day started toward the stairs, then stopped. "Jade?" "Yes?" "He won't bother you again tonight. But tomorrow." "Tomorrow what?" "Tomorrow you should let me help." He left before she could answer. Jade stood in the empty hallway for a long moment. Her hands were shaking again, but not from fear this time. She knocked on Marisol's door. "It's me." The door opened immediately. Marisol's dark eyes were worried. "Who was that man?" "I'm not sure." "He seemed dangerous." Jade thought about that. Day had seemed dangerous, yes, but not to her. "Maybe," she said, "but not to us." "And the other one? The angry one?" "My ex-boyfriend." Marisol's face darkened. She'd been married for 40 years before her husband died. She knew about men. "He will come back." It wasn't a question. "Probably." "Then perhaps the dangerous man is a good thing." Jade helped Marisol to her chair and turned on the evening news. But her mind wasn't on the television. She kept thinking about Day's voice. Quiet. Certain. When he'd said Caleb wouldn't bother her tonight, she'd believed him. The question was, why? The next evening, Jade walked to work at the diner. The October air was crisp. Her breath formed small clouds. She'd spent the day thinking about Day, about his expensive suit and quiet voice, about the way he'd stepped between her and Caleb without hesitation, about how he'd known her name and her work schedule. The diner was busy for a Tuesday night. Jade tied her apron and grabbed the coffee pot. The familiar routine calmed her nerves. "Table 6 needs refills," called Danny, the cook. Jade nodded and made her rounds. Coffee for the truckers, pie for the college kids, sympathy for the drunk businessman who'd missed his train. The drunk was getting louder. His words were slurred. "I said I want another whiskey." "Sir, we don't serve liquor here," Jade said. Her voice was patient. "But I can get you some coffee." "I don't want coffee." The man stood up too quickly, swayed. "I want what I asked for." Other customers were staring now. Jade felt her chest tighten. "Please sit down," she said. The man grabbed her wrist. "Don't tell me what to do." Jade's breath caught. For a second, she was back in her old apartment, Caleb's fingers around her wrist, his voice in her ear. "Don't tell me what to do, bitch." "Let go," she said. The man's grip tightened. Then someone cleared their throat behind her. "Excuse me." Jade turned. Day sat in the corner booth. She hadn't seen him come in. He stood and walked over slowly. His movements were calm. "Is there a problem?" Day asked. The drunk looked up at him. Day was tall, well-built. His presence filled the space. "No problem," the drunk mumbled. He let go of Jade's wrist. "Good," Day's voice was pleasant, "because Mrs. Patterson here has been working all evening. She deserves respect." Mrs. Patterson. Jade realized Day thought she was married. The assumption should have bothered her. Instead, it made her feel protected. "I was just asking for a drink," the drunk said. "I understand." Day pulled out his wallet. "Here's money for a cab. There's a bar 3 blocks east that serves excellent whiskey." The drunk took the money. He looked between Day and Jade, then shuffled toward the door. Danny emerged from the kitchen. Thanks, man. I was about to call the cops. No need, Day said. He turned to Jade. Are you hurt? Jade rubbed her wrist. I'm fine. You handled that well. I've had practice. Something shifted in Dai's expression. With Caleb, the direct question surprised her. Sometimes. Dai's jaw tightened. How often is sometimes? Jade glanced around the diner. Other customers were going back to their meals. The crisis was over. Can we not do this here? Of course. Day returned to his booth. Jade finished her shift, hyper-aware of his presence. He ordered coffee and pie, but barely touched either. When the diner emptied, she approached his table. Why are you here? Making sure you're safe. At my job, everywhere. The simple honesty made her stomach flutter. You can't watch me everywhere. I can try. Jade sat down across from him. The vinyl booth squeaked. What do you do for work? Import business. What kind of imports? Day's eyes met hers. The kind that pays for expensive suits and late-night protection. Not an answer, but not a lie either. Are you married? She asked. No. Girlfriend? No. Why not? It's complicated. Jade felt frustrated. Every answer led to more questions. You know everything about me. I know nothing about you. What do you want to know? Everything. Day almost smiled. That would take a while. I have time. Not here. Danny was wiping down tables, giving them pointed looks. We close in 10 minutes, he called. Jade untied her apron. Walk me home? Yes. They left the diner together. The street was empty, except for a few passing cars. How long have you been in the city? Jade asked. 5 years. Where are you from? Korea. Originally. Family? Some. Another non-answer. Jade was beginning to see the pattern. They reached her building. The same black sedan waited at the curb. Is that yours? Yes. The man from last night? Unsu, my associate. He's been here all day. Day nodded. Taking shifts. The idea of being watched should have made her angry. Instead, she felt safer than she had in months. What happens tomorrow? Tomorrow you go to work. Take care of Marisol. Live your life. And Caleb? Caleb will be busy with other things. The certainty in his voice made her curious. What kind of other things? The kind that keep him away from you. They stood on the sidewalk. The space between them felt charged. I should go up, Jade said. Yes, but neither of them moved. Day? Yes? Thank you. For what? For not asking me to trust you. Something shifted in his expression. Most people want trust immediately. Most people haven't earned it. And I have? Jade thought about that. You're working on it. This time, he did smile. Small. Real. Good night, Jade. Good night. She climbed the stairs to her apartment. Through her window, she watched the black sedan pull away. For the first time in 2 years, she fell asleep without checking the locks twice. The alley behind the diner smelled like garbage and old grease. Jade hauled the last bag to the dumpster. Her shift was almost over. It had been a quiet night. No drunk customers, no drama. Day had been in his corner booth again, reading a newspaper in Korean. She was getting used to his presence. It was comfortable, safe. The alley was darker than usual. One of the streetlights was out. Working late again, baby? Jade spun around. Caleb emerged from behind the dumpster. Her heart hammered. What are you doing here? Waiting for you. Caleb stepped closer. We need to talk. No, we don't. Jade started toward the diner's back door. Caleb moved to block her path. 2 years, Jade. 2 years we were together. We broke up. You broke up. I never agreed to that. Jade felt trapped. The alley was a dead end. The only exit was past Caleb. I told you to stay away from me, and I told you we weren't finished. Caleb grabbed her wrist, the same wrist the drunk had grabbed the night before. Let go, Jade said. Not until you listen. His fingers tightened. Jade felt panic rising in her chest. You're hurting me. Good. Maybe you'll pay attention. Caleb had been drinking. She could smell the alcohol on his breath. Please. Please what? Please forgive you for being a selfish bitch. Jade tried to pull away. Caleb's grip tightened more. Then footsteps echoed in the alley. Let her go. Day's voice was quiet. Deadly. Caleb turned but didn't release Jade's wrist. This is private. No, it's not. Day stepped into the light. His hands were empty. No weapons visible. Walk away, Caleb said. This doesn't concern you. You're touching her without permission. It concerns me. She's my girlfriend. I'm not, Jade said quickly. Day's eyes never left Caleb's face. You heard her. I don't give a shit what she says. I don't give a shit what you say. Caleb's voice was rising, getting agitated. Let go of her wrist, Day said. Or what? Or I'll make you. Something in Day's tone made Caleb hesitate, but he didn't release Jade. You don't scare me, Caleb said. I should. Day moved forward. One step. Caleb finally let go of Jade's wrist. Smart choice, Day said. Caleb backed toward the alley entrance. This isn't over. Yes, it is. You can't watch her every second. I won't have to. Caleb looked between them. Something in their faces made him nervous. Fuck both of you, he said. He left. His footsteps faded down the street. Jade's breath came out in a shaky rush. She rubbed her wrist where Caleb had grabbed her. Are you hurt? Day asked. No, just scared. He won't come back tonight. How do you know? Because Yunsu is following him home. The casual efficiency of it surprised her. You had this planned? I had it prepared. What's the difference? Planning assumes certainty. Preparation allows for variables. Jade felt her breathing slow. You sound like you've done this before. Unfortunately, yes. Something in his voice made her study his face more carefully. There was pain there. Old hurt. Who were you protecting before? Day's expression shuttered. That's a story for another time. Will there be another time? That depends. On what? On whether you want there to be. The question hung between them. Jade thought about the last 2 nights, about feeling safe for the first time in months. I work tomorrow night, she said. I know. Will you be there? If you want me to be. I do. Something shifted in his face. Relief, maybe. Then I will. They walked back to the front of the diner. Danny was locking up. Everything okay? Danny asked. Everything's fine, Jade said. Danny nodded and walked to his car. The street was quiet. I'll drive you home, Day said. You don't have to. Yes, I do. The certainty in his voice made her feel cared for, protected. Okay. The black sedan was parked around the corner. Unsu sat behind the wheel. How was your evening? Day asked him in English. Productive, Unsu said. Target is home. Won't be leaving again tonight. Target. They were talking about Caleb like he was a military objective. Jade slid into the back seat. The leather was soft. Expensive. Where to? Unsu asked. Jade gave him her address. The drive took less than 5 minutes. Thank you, she said when they stopped. Day got out to walk her to the building entrance. Jade? Yes? Tomorrow, I want you to consider something. What? Changing your routine. Different routes to work. Different times. You think Caleb will try again? I think men like Caleb don't give up easily. He was right. In the 2 years they dated, Caleb had never accepted no for an answer. About anything. What if changing my routine isn't enough? Day's eyes found hers. Then we'll try something else. Like what? Whatever it takes. The promise settled something in her chest. For 2 years, she'd felt like she was fighting alone. I should go up, she said. Yes. She started toward the building entrance, then turned back. Day. Yes? I'm glad you were there tonight. So am I. She climbed the stairs to her apartment. Through her window, she watched the sedan drive away. Her wrist was bruised where Caleb had grabbed her. But for the first time since they'd broken up, she wasn't afraid of what tomorrow might bring. She had Day watching over her now. And somehow, that changed everything. Jade's morning routine was simple. Coffee, shower, check on Marisol. She knocked on the older woman's door at 9 a.m. sharp. Buenos dias, Mija, Marisol said. You look tired. Couldn't sleep. It wasn't entirely true. She'd slept better than usual, but her dreams had been full of dark alleys and strong hands. The angry man again? Marisol asked. Yes. And the other one? The protector? Jade felt heat rise in her cheeks. He was there. Good. Marisol's approval surprised her. The older woman was usually cautious about men. You think I should trust him? I think you already do. Marisol was right. Jade had trusted Day instinctively. Completely. Is that smart? Smart? Marisol smiled. No, Mija. Trust is never smart. But sometimes it is necessary. They took the bus to Marisol's physical therapy appointment. The morning was bright. Cool. On the bus, Jade noticed the black sedan following at a distance. Unsu was behind the wheel. She should have felt annoyed. Instead, she felt protected. Your protector is thorough, Marisol observed. How did you? Old eyes see much. Marisol's therapy session went well. Her left arm was getting stronger. The speech therapy was helping too. She is determined, the therapist told Jade. Very motivated. Jade helped Marisol back onto the bus. They rode in comfortable silence. Will you see him tonight? Marisol asked as they reached her building. At work, yes. And after work? Jade felt her cheeks warm again. I don't know. You should. Should what? See him after work. Talk to him properly. About what? About why a man like that protects a woman like you. Jade started to ask what she meant, but Marisol was already walking toward her apartment door. The afternoon passed slowly. Jade cleaned her small studio apartment, did laundry, tried not to think about Day. She failed. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw his face, the way he'd stepped between her and Caleb, the certainty in his voice. You're touching her without permission. It concerns me. No one had ever said anything like that to her before. No one had ever made her safety their concern. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. Be careful tonight. D. Jade stared at the message. 3 words that made her feel safer than a locked door. She texted back, I will. His response came immediately. Good. Jade got ready for work early. She chose her clothes carefully. Jeans that fit well. A sweater that brought out her eyes. Not because of Day, she told herself. Because looking good made her feel confident. She was lying, and she knew it. The diner was busier than usual for a Wednesday night. 2 tour buses had stopped. The customers were loud and demanding. Jade hustled between tables, pouring coffee and taking orders. Her feet ached in her work shoes. Day arrived during the dinner rush. He found his usual booth and ordered coffee. Black. Every time Jade passed his table, she felt his eyes on her, watching, protecting. Around 10 p.m., the tour buses left. The diner emptied. Rough night? Day asked when she finally approached his table. Long night, she corrected. You handle chaos well. Lots of practice. With Caleb? The question was gentle but persistent. Jade sat down across from him. Among others. Others? Bad jobs, bad roommates, bad choices. Day nodded. We all have those. Even you? Especially me. Something in his voice made her curious. What kind of bad choices? The kind that hurt people I cared about. Pain flickered across his face. Deep. Old. Want to talk about it? No. His honesty was refreshing. Most men would have deflected or lied. Can I ask you something? Jade said. Anything. Why me? What do you mean? You could protect anyone, help anyone. Why did you choose me? Day was quiet for a long moment. Because you remind me of someone. Someone you cared about? Someone I failed to protect. The words hung between them, heavy with regret. I'm sorry, Jade said. So am I. Danny was cleaning the grill, getting ready to close. Walk me home again? Jade asked. Always. They left the diner together. The night air was crisp, clear. Can I ask you something now? Day said. Okay. Why do you work 2 jobs? Because I need the money. For what? Jade hesitated. Marisol's insurance doesn't cover everything. Her medications are expensive. You pay for them? Some of them. She's not family. She is to me. Something shifted in Dai's expression. Approval, maybe. That's why, he said quietly. Why what? Why you? They reached her building. The black sedan waited at the curb. Will I see you tomorrow? Jade asked. If you want to. I do. Day stepped closer. For a moment, she thought he might touch her. Instead, he said, Be careful, Jade. I will. She started toward the building entrance, then stopped. Day? Yes? The person you failed to protect. What happened to them? His face went very still. They died. The simple words hit her like a physical blow. Because of your bad choices? Because I wasn't strong enough to make the right ones. Jade felt her heart break a little. I'm sorry. Don't be. Just be safe. She climbed the stairs to her apartment. Through her window, she watched the sedan drive away. This time, she didn't fall asleep easily. She kept thinking about the pain in Day's voice, the weight of whatever he was carrying, and the way he'd said her name, like it was something precious, something worth protecting. The morning brought rain, and a phone call that changed everything. Jade answered on the second ring. Hello? Is this Jade Morrison? The voice was official. Cold. Yes. This is Detective Rivera with the city police. We need to ask you some questions about Caleb Rhodes. Jade's stomach dropped. What about him? He was found unconscious in his apartment this morning. Signs of a struggle. Is he dead? No. But he's in the hospital. He mentioned your name. Jade sank onto her couch. I don't understand. We'd like you to come to the station. Answer a few questions. Am I in trouble? Not at this time. But we need to know about your relationship with Mr. Rhodes. Jade's hands shook as she hung up. Her first instinct was to call Day. Her phone buzzed before she could dial. Don't go to the police station alone. D. She stared at the message. How did he already know? Her phone rang again. Jade. Day's voice was calm. Are you all right? The police called. About Caleb. I know. I'm outside your building. Jade looked out her window. The black sedan sat at the curb. How did you... I'll explain later. Right now, we need to get you a lawyer. I can't afford a lawyer. I can. Day. I can't let you. You can, and you will. This isn't negotiable. The certainty in his voice was comforting and terrifying at the same time. Did you hurt Caleb? The silence stretched between them. Not directly, he finally said. What does that mean? It means he won't be bothering you anymore. Jade felt relief and fear warring in her chest. What did you do? What needed to be done? That's not an answer. It's the only answer I can give you right now. Jade closed her eyes. I need to check on Marisol first. Of course. I'll wait. She hung up and knocked on Marisol's door. Buenos dias, mija. You look upset. The police called. About Caleb. Marisol's eyes sharpened. What about him? He's in the hospital. They want to question me. And your protector? He's downstairs. With a lawyer. Marisol nodded approvingly. Good. Do not go alone. Marisol, what if Day did something illegal? The older woman was quiet for a moment. What do you think he did? I think he protected me. Then that is what matters. Even if someone got hurt? Mija, sometimes protecting the innocent requires hurting the guilty. Jade kissed Marisol's cheek and promised to call later. Downstairs, Day waited beside the sedan. Another car had arrived. A woman in an expensive suit got out. Jade Morrison. The woman extended her hand. I'm Sarah Chen. I'll be representing you today. I don't understand what's happening. Mr. Rhodes was assaulted in his apartment. The police want to establish a timeline, rule out suspects. Am I a suspect? Everyone who had contact with him recently is a person of interest. Jade felt dizzy. This is insane. Day stepped closer. You'll be fine. Sarah is the best criminal defense attorney in the city. Criminal defense? Jade's voice cracked. I didn't do anything wrong. I know, Day said. His voice was gentle. But the police don't know that yet. They drove to the station in Sarah's car. Day followed in the sedan. What should I expect? Jade asked. Basic questions. Where were you last night? When did you last see Mr. Rhodes? What was your relationship? I was at work. At the diner. Good. Can anyone verify that? Danny, the cook, and... Jade stopped. And Day. He was there. Sarah made a note. For how long? Most of my shift. That's good. A solid alibi. At the station, Detective Rivera turned out to be a middle-aged woman with tired eyes. Miss Morrison, thank you for coming in. Of course. They sat in a small interview room. Sarah took notes while Rivera asked questions. How long did you date Mr. Rhodes? 2 years. When did the relationship end? 6 months ago. Who initiated the breakup? I did. How did Mr. Rhodes react? Jade's throat tightened. He wasn't happy. Did he threaten you? Sometimes. Can you be more specific? He said we weren't finished. That I didn't get to decide when things ended. Rivera made notes. Did he ever hurt you physically? Yes. Recently, Jade thought about the alley behind the diner. 2 nights ago. What happened? He grabbed my wrist. Wouldn't let go. Did you report it? No. Why not? Jade glanced at Sarah, who nodded encouragingly. Because I didn't think you'd believe me. Rivera's expression softened slightly. Where were you last night between 11 p.m. and 3 a.m.? Working at the diner on 8th Street until midnight. Then I went home. Can anyone verify that? Danny Kowalski, the cook, and... Jade hesitated. And? A friend was there. Day Kang. How long have you known Mr. Kang? A few days. Is he your boyfriend? Heat rose in Jade's cheeks. We're friends. Rivera made more notes. Miss Morrison? Do you know anyone who might want to hurt Mr. Rhodes? No. It wasn't entirely true. But Jade couldn't bring herself to throw Day under the bus. Has anyone been threatening Mr. Rhodes on your behalf? Jade's pulse quickened. Not that I know of. Another lie. But a necessary one. The interview lasted an hour. When it was over, Rivera walked them to the lobby. "Miss Morrison, you're free to go, but don't leave town without notifying us." "Am I still a suspect?" "Everyone's a suspect until we know what happened." Outside the station, Jade felt like she could breathe again. "How did I do?" she asked Sarah. "Very well. Your story is consistent and verifiable. What happens now?" "Now we wait, and hope Mr. Rhodes remembers who actually attacked him." Day was leaning against the sedan when they emerged. "Everything all right?" "For now," Sarah said. "I'll be in touch if anything changes." She got in her car and drove away. Jade faced Day. "Tell me the truth. Did you have Caleb beaten up?" "Not exactly." "Then what exactly?" Day was quiet for a moment. He was given a choice: leave you alone permanently, or face consequences. What kind of consequences? The kind that would make him reconsider his life choices. And he chose the consequences? "He chose to test my resolve." Jade felt sick. Someone could have killed him. No, they had specific instructions. Instructions to do what? To make sure he understood the seriousness of the situation. By putting him in the hospital? By showing him what happens when he threatens you? Jade stared at him. "Who are you?" "Someone who keeps his promises." "What promises?" "That Caleb wouldn't bother you again." The simple truth of it hit her. Day had done exactly what he'd said he would do. "I need to go home," she said. "I'll drive you." They rode in silence. Jade stared out the window, processing everything that had happened. When they reached her building, she didn't get out immediately. "The person you failed to protect before," she said. "Did they die because you weren't willing to hurt someone?" Day's hands tightened on the steering wheel. "Yes. And now you're willing to hurt people to protect me?" "Yes." "Why?" He turned to look at her. "Because I can't fail again." The pain in his voice made her chest ache. "What if I can't accept that? Then I'll have to live with disappointing you. And if the police find out you were involved, then I'll deal with the consequences." Jade studied his face. "You'd go to prison to protect me, if necessary?" The certainty in his voice scared her and thrilled her. "I need time to think about this." "Take all the time you need. Will you still watch over me?" "While I think?" "Always." She got out of the car and climbed the stairs to her apartment. Through her window, she watched the sedan drive away. Her phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. "You should have stayed with me. Now look what happened." Jade's blood went cold. Caleb was awake and angry. She called Day immediately. "He texted me," she said when he answered. "What did he say?" She read him the message. "Pack a bag," Day said. His voice was sharp. "Right now." "What? Why?" "Because he's not in the hospital anymore." Fear shot through her. "What do you mean?" "I mean he checked himself out an hour ago, and no one knows where he went." Jade's hands shook as she grabbed a small suitcase. "Where am I going?" "Somewhere safe." "For how long?" "Until this is over." "And when will that be?" "Soon." Jade threw clothes into the suitcase. Basic necessities. The photo of her and Marisol from last Christmas. Her phone buzzed again. "I know where you live. I know where you work. I know where the old bitch lives too." This time, Jade felt rage alongside the fear. "He threatened Marisol," she told Day. "We'll protect her too." "How?" "Trust me." The word hung between them. Trust. The one thing Jade had been afraid to give. But as she looked around her small apartment, she realized she didn't have a choice. Caleb was escalating. The police couldn't protect her, and Day was offering safety. All she had to do was trust him. "I'm ready," she said. "Good. I'm outside." Jade looked around her apartment one last time. Then she locked the door and walked away from the life she'd built, toward whatever came next. Day's estate sat on a hill overlooking the city. The house was modern. Glass and steel. Beautiful and intimidating. "This is where you live?" Jade asked as they drove through the gates. "One of the places." "How many places do you have?" "Several." Another non-answer. Jade was getting used to them. The interior was minimalist. Expensive. Everything in its place. "Guest room is upstairs," Unsu said. "Second door on the left." "What about Marisol?" "Already taken care of," Day said. "She's at a private care facility. 24-hour nursing staff. She won't understand." I explained the situation. She agreed to go. Jade felt relief wash over her. "Thank you." "Don't thank me yet. We need to talk." Day led her to a study lined with books. A desk dominated one wall. Papers were scattered across its surface. "Sit," he said. Jade chose a leather chair. Day remained standing. "There are rules here," he said, "for your safety." "What kind of rules?" "You don't leave without an escort. You don't answer your phone unless I approve the number. You don't contact anyone from your old life. For how long? Until Caleb is no longer a threat. And how will you determine that? Something shifted in Day's expression. Leave that to me. Jade felt a chill. What are you planning? Nothing you need to worry about. If you're going to kill him, I'm not going to kill him. Promise me. Jade, promise me you won't kill him. Day was quiet for a long moment. I promise I won't kill him unless he tries to hurt you or Marisol. It wasn't the promise she wanted, but it was the best she was going to get. Show me to my room. The guest suite was larger than her entire apartment. King-sized bed, sitting area, private bathroom. If you need anything, press the red button by the bed, Day said. Someone will come immediately. Someone. Security. Staff. Me. You live here alone? Usually. That must be lonely. Pain flickered across his face. I'm used to it. Jade unpacked her small suitcase. Everything looked pathetic in the expensive room. A knock at the door interrupted her thoughts. Come in. A young woman entered carrying a tray. Asian, pretty, nervous. Mr. Kang thought you might be hungry, she said in accented English. Thank you. The woman set down the tray and left quickly. Jade lifted the cloth covering. Soup, bread, tea. Her throat tightened. When was the last time someone had anticipated her needs like this? She ate slowly, thinking about everything that had changed in the past few days. A week ago, she'd been alone, afraid, working 2 jobs to survive. Now she was living in a mansion, protected by a man who barely knew her. It should have felt like a fairy tale. Instead, it felt like a prison. No matter how beautiful the cage, she was still trapped inside it. Her phone buzzed. Day had returned it after approving her contacts. A text from Marisol. Mija, I am safe. The nurses are kind. Do not worry about me. Jade texted back. I love you, and I love you. Trust your protector. He has good eyes. Good eyes. Jade wondered what Marisol had seen in Day that she'd missed. Another knock at the door. Come in. Day entered carrying 2 cups of tea. Thought you might want company, he said. Is that allowed under the rules? I make the rules. He handed her a cup and sat in the chair by the window. How are you feeling? Like I'm in witness protection. In a way, you are. Am I a witness to something? Day was quiet for a moment. You're a witness to what happens when someone tries to hurt what's mine. The possessive words should have bothered her. Instead, they made her feel claimed, protected. I'm not yours, she said softly. Aren't you? The question hung between them, heavy with possibility. I barely know you. What do you want to know? Everything. That's a lot. Start with why you're so determined to protect me. Day stared out the window. The city glittered below them. I told you. You remind me of someone. Who? Her name was Min Jung. We were engaged. Jade felt a pang of something that might have been jealousy. What happened to her? She was killed because of choices I made. What kind of choices? The kind that put her in danger. And you think protecting me will somehow make up for that? Day's eyes found hers. I think failing you would destroy me. The raw honesty in his voice made her chest tight. I'm not her, Jade said. I know. Then why? Because you're you. And you matter. The simple words hit her harder than poetry. You barely know me, she repeated. I know enough. Like what? I know you work 2 jobs to pay for an old woman's medication. I know you'd rather walk home alone than accept help from a stranger. I know you stood up to Caleb even when you were terrified. Jade felt exposed. Seen. That's not enough to build protection on. It's enough to build respect on. And respect can become more. More what? More whatever you want it to be. The possibility in his voice made her pulse quicken. What if I want to leave? Then you leave. Just like that? Just like that. But you'd take security with you. For how long? Until Caleb is no longer a threat. They sat in comfortable silence. Outside, the sun was setting. Can I ask you something? Jade said. Anything. If Min Jung had lived, would you have married her? Yes. Do you still love her? Day was quiet for a long time. I love her memory. I love what we could have had. But loving the dead is different from loving the living. How? Loving the dead is safe. They can't disappoint you, can't leave you, can't choose someone else. And loving the living? Loving the living is terrifying. Jade set down her teacup. Is that what you're doing? Loving me? I'm trying not to. Why? Because I don't want to destroy you the way I destroyed her. The pain in his voice made her want to comfort him. Maybe this time will be different. Maybe. Or maybe I'll get you killed too. That's a risk I'll have to take. Day looked at her sharply. What are you saying? I'm saying I want to stay. Not because I'm afraid of Caleb, but because I want to see what this becomes. Something shifted in his expression. Hope, maybe. Are you sure? No, but I'm willing to find out. Day stood and moved toward the door. Where are you going? To make sure you're safe enough to take that risk. What does that mean? It means Caleb's reign of terror ends tonight. Fear shot through her. You promised. I promised I wouldn't kill him unless he threatened you or Marisol. He threatened Marisol. Day, please. This is not negotiable. He was almost to the door when she called his name. Yes? Come back to me. He turned to look at her one last time. Always, he said. Then he was gone. Jade sat alone in the beautiful room, wondering if she'd just made the biggest mistake of her life, or the best decision she'd ever made. Outside, car engines started, doors slammed, and somewhere in the city, Caleb Rhodes was about to learn what happened when you threatened Day Kang's family. Jade felt her breath catch. Family. When had she become that? Part 4. The war began with flowers. Jade found them outside her door at dawn. White chrysanthemums arranged in a perfect circle. Don't touch them, Day said sharply. He appeared behind her, already dressed despite the early hour. They're just flowers. In Korean culture, white chrysanthemums are for funerals. The words sent ice through her veins. She knows where I am. She's known since the beginning. Then why? Because this was never about hiding. It was about preparing. Yun-Soo arrived with 2 other men. They photographed the flowers from every angle before carefully removing them. Any other surprises? Day asked him. Security footage shows a delivery van. Fake plates. Driver wore a mask. Professional. Very. Jade felt like she was watching a movie. Everything was too calm, too controlled. What does this mean? She asked. It means the games are over, Day said. She's ready to move. Move how? We'll find out soon enough. Mrs. Kim appeared with coffee and pastry. Her hands were steady, but Jade caught the worry in her eyes. Should I be afraid? Jade asked. You should be careful, Day said. There's a difference. What kind of difference? Fear makes you weak. Careful keeps you alive. They ate breakfast in the kitchen. The normal routine felt surreal after the morning's discovery. I want to see Marisol, Jade said. Not today. Why not? Because visiting her puts her at risk. More risk than leaving her unprotected. Day set down his coffee. She's not unprotected. What do you mean? I mean she has 2 guards, rotating shifts, medical staff who've been background checked twice. Relief flooded through her. You didn't tell me. You didn't need to worry about it. She's not your responsibility. She's yours. That makes her mine. The simple logic of it made her chest tight. I want to call her after we know more about today's message. The flowers were a message? Everything is a message with Madam Han. Before Jade could ask what he meant, Day's phone buzzed. He answered in Korean. His voice was sharp, angry. What is it? Jade asked when he hung up. She wants to meet. With you? With both of us? Fear shot through her. Absolutely not. It might be our only chance to end this peacefully. Or it might be a trap. Definitely a trap. Then why would we go? Because sometimes walking into a trap is the only way to spring it. Jade stared at him. That's insane. Welcome to my world. I don't want to be in your world if it means getting killed. You're already in my world. The only question is whether we take control or let her keep the advantage. Yun-Soo reappeared. The meet is set for tonight. Neutral ground. Where? The Jade Garden restaurant. Downtown. Jade felt her stomach drop. That's where I had my first job, as a hostess. She knows, Day said grimly. That's why she chose it. More psychological warfare. Everything with her is psychological warfare. Jade thought about the restaurant. She'd worked there for 6 months before getting fired for refusing to serve a customer who'd grabbed her. What time? 9 p.m. Private dining room. How many people? She's bringing 3. We bring 3. I'm not people, Jade said. I'm a target. You're my wife, Day corrected. And targets don't get to negotiate terms. The possessive words sent heat through her despite the circumstances. What if she tries to hurt me? Then she dies. The matter-of-fact tone should have scared her. Instead, it made her feel absolutely protected. What do I need to know about her? She's smart, ruthless. She's been running her organization for 20 years. How old is she? 58. She took over when her husband was killed. By who? Me. The admission hit like a physical blow. You killed her husband? Yes. When? 8 years ago. Why? Because he ordered Min Jong's death. Understanding dawned slowly. So this is personal, very personal. She's been planning revenge for 8 years? She's been planning to destroy everything I care about. You just gave her the perfect weapon. Jade felt sick. I'm sorry. For what? For existing. For making you vulnerable. Day moved to her chair and knelt beside it. Don't apologize for being the best thing that's happened to me in 8 years. Even if I get you killed? Especially if you get me killed. That's not funny. I'm not joking. His eyes were serious. Intense. What are you saying? I'm saying I'd rather die protecting you than live without you. The words made her breath catch. Day. I love you, Jade. Completely. Terrifyingly. I love you too. The admission seemed to surprise them both. Are you sure? Terrified, but sure. He kissed her then. Deep. Claiming. When they broke apart, something had shifted between them. What happens tonight? Tonight, we end this. And tomorrow? Tomorrow we start our life together. What if there is no tomorrow? Then we make tonight count. The Jade Garden looked exactly the same. Red lacquer, golden dragons, the smell of ginger and soy sauce. Jade wore a black dress Day had chosen. Simple, elegant, armor, disguised as clothing. You look beautiful, he said as they walked toward the entrance. I look terrified. Same thing. 2 men flanked them. Unsu and another Korean man Jade didn't recognize. Where's the third person? She asked. Already inside. The hostess led them to a private dining room in the back. The table was set for 8. Madame Han was already seated. She was smaller than Jade expected. Elegant. Silver hair pulled into a perfect chignon. Her eyes were cold as winter. Mr. Kang, she said, in accented English. Thank you for coming. Madame Han. Day's voice was respectful, but not deferential. And this must be the famous Mrs. Kang. Jade felt exposed under the woman's gaze. Just Jade. How modest. I understand you work with elderly patients? Yes. Such important work. Caring for the vulnerable. There was something predatory in the way she said it. Jade, this is Madame Han, Day said formally. We've heard so much about each other. Madame Han said, please, sit. They took their seats across from each other. The tension was suffocating. Shall we order first? Or discuss business? Business, Day said. Very well. Madame Han folded her hands. You killed my husband. Yes. You destroyed my family. Your husband destroyed mine first. An eye for an eye. But you took more than an eye, didn't you? I took justice. You took revenge. There's a difference. Jade watched the exchange like a tennis match, each word carefully chosen, loaded with meaning. What do you want? Day asked. What I've always wanted. Your submission. Not going to happen. Even for her. Madame Han's eyes flicked to Jade. The threat was unmistakable, especially for her. How romantic. Love makes men so foolish. Sometimes. It made you foolish 8 years ago, with that pretty girl. What was her name? You know her name. Min Jong. Such a tragedy. Day's jaw tightened. Get to the point. The point is that history repeats itself, unless we prevent it. How? You step down, retire from all business interests, disappear. In exchange for? Your wife lives. The words hung in the air like poison. Counter-offer, Day said calmly. I'm listening. You leave my territory. Leave my family alone. I won't hunt you down like the animal you are. Madame Han laughed. It was a beautiful, terrible sound. You think you're in a position to negotiate? I think you wouldn't have asked for this meeting if you felt secure. Something shifted in her expression. What does that mean? It means your organization is weaker than you pretend. Otherwise, you would have acted instead of talking. Perhaps I enjoy the conversation. Perhaps you're stalling while your people move into position. Perhaps you're stalling while your people do the same. The admission hung between them. What happens now? Jade asked. Both of them looked at her like they'd forgotten she was there. Now we see who planned better, Madame Han said. I think we already know, Day replied. Madame Han's phone buzzed. She glanced at it and her face went pale. Problem? Day asked. A minor setback. Your warehouse on the east side? You wouldn't dare. I would. I did. That's an act of war. No, that was a demonstration. Of what? Of what happens when you threaten my family. Madame Han stood abruptly. This isn't over. Yes, it is. You can't protect her forever. I don't have to. I just have to protect her long enough. Long enough for what? For you to realize that touching her would be the last thing you ever do. The promise in his voice was absolute. Madame Han looked at Jade one last time. Enjoy your happiness while it lasts, dear. In my experience, it never does. She left with her escorts. Jade realized she'd been holding her breath. Is it over? This part is. What about the other parts? There won't be any other parts. How can you be sure? Because her warehouse contained half her operations records, and her accountant was very helpful when properly motivated. You have her accountant? We have everything. Relief flooded through her. So, we're safe. We're safe. Just like that? Just like that. Jade felt tears threaten. I can't believe it's over. Believe it. What happens now? Now we go home. Your home? Our home. The possessive word made her pulse quicken. Are you asking me to move in with you? I'm asking you to marry me. The words stopped her heart. What? Really marry me? Not for protection. For us. Day. I know it's fast. I know it's crazy. But I love you. And life is too short to waste time being careful. Yes. Yes? Yes. I'll marry you. Really marry you. His smile was brilliant. Are you sure? Terrified. But sure. He kissed her across the table. When? Tomorrow? Perfect. They left the restaurant hand in hand. The night air felt different. Lighter. What about Marisol? Jade asked. She'll come live with us. If she wants to. And my job? Whatever you want. We'll figure it out. And Caleb? What about him? Will he stay away? He'll stay away. Forever? Forever. They reached the car. Unsu was smiling, which Jade had never seen before. Good news travels fast, Day explained. What news? That the war is over, and we won. What did we win? Everything. On the drive home, Jade watched the city lights blur past. Everything was changing. Everything was beginning. Day? Yes? I'm scared. Of what? Of being too happy. There's no such thing as too happy. What if something goes wrong? Then we'll handle it. Together. Promise? I promise. 6 months later. Jade woke to the smell of coffee and the sound of rain against the windows. The bedroom was different now. Their bedroom, filled with both their things. Photos of their small wedding ceremony sat on the dresser. Just them, Unsu, Mrs. Kim, and Marisol. The older woman had cried through the entire ceremony. Buenos dias, mija, she'd whispered afterward. Your protector has good eyes. Marisol lived in the guest wing now. Her health had improved dramatically since moving to the estate. Jade found Day in the kitchen, reading news on his tablet. Morning, she said, kissing his cheek. Morning. Sleep well? Better than well. He pulled her onto his lap. Plans for today? Marisol has physical therapy. Then we're having lunch in the garden. Sounds perfect. What about you? Boring business meetings. The legal kind of business? All my business is legal now. It was true. Day had transitioned his organization into legitimate enterprises. Import, export, real estate, security consulting. Do you miss it? The excitement? I have plenty of excitement. Like what? Like being married to a woman who argues with me constantly. I don't argue constantly. You're arguing right now. Jade laughed. That's not arguing. That's discussing. Same thing. Not the same thing at all. See? Arguing. She swatted his shoulder playfully. Mrs. Kim says the contractors will be finished with the nursery next week, Day said. Jade felt her breath catch. Are you sure we're ready for this? We're ready. How can you be certain? Because we love each other. Everything else, we can learn. Jade placed her hand over her still flat stomach. 3 months along, a surprise that had terrified and thrilled them both. What if I'm terrible at being a mother? You take care of everyone around you. You'll be a wonderful mother. What if the baby doesn't like me? Impossible. What if... He silenced her with a kiss. Stop worrying. I can't help it. Yes, you can. How? Trust me. The words that had started everything between them. I do trust you. Then trust this. Trust us. Outside, the rain was slowing. Sunshine broke through the clouds. I love you, Jade said. I love you too. Forever? Forever. They sat together in the bright kitchen, planning their day, their future. The shrine to Minjung had been moved to a sunny alcove Jade had chosen. She visited it sometimes, leaving flowers and quiet words of gratitude. Thank you for teaching him to love, for showing him what was worth protecting. Caleb had never returned from Seattle. The last they'd heard, he was working construction and attending AA meetings. Some stories ended with justice, others ended with redemption. Madame Han had disappeared entirely. Her organization had crumbled without its financial foundation. Peace had been easier than either of them expected. "Breakfast?" Mrs. Kim asked, entering the kitchen. "Please," Jade said. "I'm starving." "The baby is hungry," Day corrected. "Same thing, not the same thing at all." They were still laughing when Marisol joined them, walking steadily with her cane. "Buenos dias, mi familia," she said. "My family." Jade felt tears threaten. Good tears, happy tears. "Buenos dias, abuela," Day said. "Grandmother." Marisol beamed at the title. They ate breakfast together, 3 generations around one table. Safe, loved, home. "What should we do today?" Marisol asked. "Whatever makes us happy," Jade said. "And tomorrow?" "The same thing. And the day after?" Day reached for Jade's hand. "Whatever comes next." Outside, the sun emerged fully. The storm was over. Everything was beginning. Jade looked around the table at her family, her husband, her chosen grandmother, the baby growing inside her. She'd started this journey alone and afraid. She was ending it, surrounded by love. "Are you happy?" Day asked softly. Jade smiled. "I'm home."